WIBTA If I left my partner of 15 years after she told me she would like to explore sex with women. I, 39M, was told yesterday by my partner, let's call her Jane, that she, 37F, wants to be able to explore her bisexuality with women. She has never been with a woman before and grew up in a standard repressed Midwestern household, and really only came to terms with her bisexuality about 5-ish years ago. Some background: we have been struggling with our sex life for around 7 years now due to a libido mismatch. I would like to have sex more often than we do, which is around once or twice a month. We have talked about this quite a bit and have been trying to work on it together. When we do have sex we both enjoy ourselves, I believe, but the past few years have been a struggle for me, and my self-esteem around my looks and sexuality has been in the dumpster. A few weeks ago, Jane brought up the idea of seeing a sex therapist to help us with counseling as a couple and to work on what I thought was the libido mismatch. I was a little reticent, but I thought that improving our communication could only be helpful, so I agreed. We set up an initial consult with a person that was scheduled yesterday, Monday. On Friday night we were cuddling with the intention of having sex, when suddenly she started blurting about how we would be working on some really new things in our relationship with the therapist, but we could talk about it then. I stopped her and told her that I felt it kind of cruel to drop a statement like that for me to stew with for 48 hours. Jane then said that it was really nothing new and that she just had a hard time talking about her bisexuality with me. I let it drop at that, as I was caught off guard since I already knew she was bi years prior. We had not great sex, which was because I was distracted. Several times over the weekend Jane tried to initiate sex with me, which was a lot for her, but I politely declined. Finally on Sunday she asked me if we were okay. And I replied, I don't know, you tell me. She told me that she loves me and isn't planning to go anywhere. She loves our life together. I left it at that. Yesterday, Monday, we were scheduled for our initial consult with the therapist. About an hour before Jane asks me if I want to talk, so I say yes, let's. I ask her what is going on. She reiterates that she loves me and the life we have built, but that she wants to explore her bisexuality with women and that she doesn't want to have any regrets when she is 70. This devastated me. After all the effort to try and improve our sex life, to be told basically, I'd like to fuck other people, has left me absolutely dead inside. We have not discussed this further since that conversation because I really needed time to process, as honestly my initial reaction was just to end it right there. I felt bad for the therapist as I was completely disengaged the whole discussion. I thought we were meeting with the therapist to work on our libido mismatch, and I find out that really Jane wants to open up the relationship. I feel like the whole thing was set up under false pretenses. A big reason this all has caught me off guard is that Jane has always been super sensitive about infidelity. She used to be hyper jealous in the early years, and has significantly improved, but still occasionally cracks a joke about other women hitting on me, honestly a thing which does not happen. Also, to be clear, there has been no cheating on my part and I am a very boring guy who spends his time on hobbies or work. To wrap up, our relationship has been a really good one and I love Jane. I hate the idea of breaking up, but even if our talk on Monday wasn't an ultimatum, I don't know that I can get over being told, if you don't open this relationship up I am going to have regrets in old age. Edit. Since it has come up a few times we have not discussed if it would be open both ways. I assume she is going to pitch opening it up for both of us. In the past the topic has come up as we have some married friends that opened up their relationship as well as several polyamorous friends, and so she knows I am uninterested in that type of setup. Update 1. I took last night off work so that Jane and I could sit and have an in-depth conversation. I told her that I felt like there was a lot she was holding back, so we dug into her feelings around her sexuality and other women. After a bit of back and forth we arrived at that she wants to be able to have sex with other women and that she already has them picked out. She thought that last point would make me better, that she is not just picking out randos on Tinder, but honestly knowing that she already has them lined up made me feel even shittier. She was also very clear that she wanted to work on us with the therapist before introducing the open relationship. however long that may take. We also addressed several other things such as her introducing these ideas very poorly and setting up the therapist in a very poor manner, which she readily apologized for. I pitched to her a hypothetical that we put in the work with a therapist, but what if after some time I say I am not okay opening up the relationship? Her reply was something along the lines of, well, we would need to unpack why you feel this way. That was the last straw for me. Being as emotional as I am having a hard time knowing how rational I am being, but it really felt like what she was suggesting was using therapy to change my mind on something that not only is a firmly held belief, monogamy, but that has been the basis of our relationship for the past 15 years. I don't need to fucking unpack why I want a monogamous relationship, any more than I need to unpack why I fucking prefer women over men. I just fucking do. I am so tired and heartbroken. I started hunting for places to live this morning. Several of you brought up divorce, but I don't believe in the institution of marriage, so we never got married. I guess that makes things a lot cleaner. Thanks to everyone for your feedback. Edit. A few people have brought up whether the relationship was going to be opened both ways. I did not ask because I don't give a shit. I was not looking to catch her in some kind of gotcha hypocrisy. I just wanted to know if my relationship was over. Others have been asking me about just having a threesome. I am sure 20-year-old me is going to die inside, but here is the answer I posted below. I'm not interested in that, to be honest. My ego, with regards to my sexuality, is at an all-time low. I clearly am not enough for Jane, so even if we bring another woman into our bedroom, am I really going to enjoy that fantasy? I think unlikely. It will be something new and fun for her, and I won't ever be able to unsee that fact or compete with it. I think this would probably wreck me even further. Update 2. A few folks messaged me last week to see how I am doing, so here is an update. Jane and I tried a few sessions of couples therapy. I know many of you were suspicious, but I liked the therapist, and as I saw it, she was unbiased, even challenging Jane a bit towards the end about whether she could compromise to make monogamy work. Jane and I talked a bit more about what she wanted the future of the relationship to look like. She envisioned that we would be non-monogamous. Essentially, that we could have other sexual partners outside the relationship, but that these would-be dalliances would be emotionally meaningless. I explained to her the myriad of issues I saw with this arrangement. Ultimately, an impasse was reached. She wanted non-monogamy and I wanted monogamy, and we could not find a compromise, and that was it. We ended things. I am truly baffled, even as I sit here typing this 2 weeks after we officially broke up. I can't fathom how it came to this. The breakup itself was very amiable, as such things go. I own a small business that has been open less than a year and is still growing, so Jane makes quite a bit more money than I do. Thus, she stayed in our duplex because the rent was more than I would like to be paying. Also, I moved an hour north to a lower Cola area, and I now live exactly 1 block from my business, so my commute is rad. We both agreed that Jane would keep our 2 dogs. The apartments I was looking at all forbid pets, and also she is right next to a bunch of our friends who can help her with pet care. Losing my relationship and 2 dogs I dearly loved has really been awful, and my heart breaks every time I see some cute pet videos. My friends helped me move in on Saturday. One of them bought me TP, cleaning supplies, and other basics, which was touching, but later then next day when I was going through the cabinets I found a bag of gummy bears, which she knows are my favorite, and I cried. As much as this whole uprooting of my life is a shit show, I am deeply blessed to have very close friends to support me through it. As for the future, I have a prediction. I don't know how long it will take, but I think Jane will try to come get back together. After we broke up, there were 2 painful weeks while I lined up a place to live and got moved out. I told her that if she had anything to get off her chest she needed to do it before I moved out. Once I was out, I let her know that I would be going no contact, for my own healing and mental health. She mentioned multiple times that she hopes we can be friends in the future, and she can't imagine a life without me involved. I really hope I am wrong about this, but knowing her as well as I do, I can envision a scenario where after the initial fun of random flings wears off, she begins to miss the stability I brought to her life. I hope this doesn't occur because I made a very specifically promise to myself that if it does, I will be giving a firm no. I am doing okay, all things considered. My new place is coming together day by day. I am a pretty simple guy, so the most exciting thing since I moved in is that I got my TV set up and watched Interstellar in bed last night after eating a frozen pizza and gummy bears. 10 out of 10 night. Thanks to everyone in the prior threads who gave thoughtful feedback and also those who reached out to check in on me. It has been very touching. Final update, today is exactly 6 months since I moved out and also since I last saw or communicated with Jane. A whole lot has gone on since then, but I will keep it brief. I found out a few things through a close mutual friend of Jane and I who I will call Nancy. The biggest revelation was that Jane gave me what I will call a coward's breakup. She knew from years before that I was not comfortable with the idea of non-monogamy. She had a talk with Nancy about the whole thing and Nancy gave her a whole lot of feedback about how to approach the situation. Jane ignored the advice to breadcrumb me, but then never told Nancy about how poorly she introduced therapy. I also found out definitively that Jane was engaged in emotional infidelity. I can't say that I was overly surprised. Since the breakup, I have done a lot of work on myself and really dig into why I put up with such poor behavior from Jane. Not just through the breakup, but really for the last several years of our relationship. I poured a lot of myself into trying to be a good partner and make her happy, and I got little to nothing in return. Since the breakup, I really have grown a lot. I've always been fit but am now walk around looking like Brad Pitt in Troy. My business has really been accelerating the past 2 months. I'm dating again, casually, and despite what the internet says, it has been very enjoyable thus far. I've been making extra efforts to be an excellent friend and uncle. I started a volunteer position at a youth homeless shelter. I have also put in a lot of time in therapy and reading. I highly recommend The Abandonment Recovery Workbook by Susan Anderson if any of you are going through a tough breakup, as I found the prompts to be very useful for self-examination. My therapist once told me that I am shit at celebrating my wins, paraphrasing of course, so tomorrow I am taking the day to do fun activities to honor the growth I have achieved these past 6 months. I want to thank everyone who gave thoughtful comments and feedback to my other posts. This was a tough time and I appreciated the support.